Hi everyone, today's quick tip video is just for using a font that's not really a font in the ScanNCut SDX1200, and it's in my SDX2200 Disney, so I suspect it's probably in the new 2250 Disney as well. So I'm always asked, are there fonts that look like handwriting or that don't have like the gap in the middle of the text? So they're kind of known as single stroke or single line fonts. So here on the desk I've got the word thanks drawn 4 times in 4 different pens, just to show you. Now I've used this pen holder, but you could equally use your ScanNCut small barrel pen holder or your universal pen holder, or even the original little mini pens, but the nibs on those are, I wouldn't say thick, but they're thicker than a regular pen, if you like. So I've colour coded them obviously with the pens here so you can see. So the first one was done with a Sharpie permanent ultra fine point marker. These are all the same word at exactly the same size, and you can see in between each of the letters there are no gaps or anything. They're just literally a stroke. And just to show you, this is the tip on the fine point. The next one was done with one of my Stampin' Up, Stampin' Right markers. So these are the ones that have got the ink in that are the same as our ink pad. These are not like the alcohol blends. And they have a brush tip end, which I wouldn't use because it's quite soft and the pressure of the ScanNCut would bend that. But I've used the bullet tip end, which is 0.5 millimeters. And again, hopefully you can see it. Now this is a bit of a bigger nib than the Sharpie. The Sharpie's got a very, very fine nib on it. I'll try and take a picture of these for the thumbnail or the blog post in the hope that you can see them better, but I'll put those there. The next one is the black pen. This is a Micron 005 archival ink. I can't say that. Archival ink. And again, very, very, very thin. So that's the next one. And then the last one in gold is just a regular Scribblicious, what I would call a regular ballpoint pen in gold, like a gel pen. Okay, so I'll show you where this is on your machine in case you don't know what I'm talking about, and just give it a try. I made these from memory 1/2 inch high, and then it set the distance itself. So again, play about with it. But they've all been drawn in different pens with different size nibs, and you know, this is the result you get. As I say, I'll try and put a better picture of the nibs and this in the blog post and the thumbnail for YouTube. So let's just go over to the ScanNCut machine. On your ScanNCut machine, if you go into patterns, and then you'll find the font section, and you've got, depending on what machine you've got various numbers of fonts. All the ScanNCut machines are basically the same. They just have either, some have less fonts than others, some have less patterns than others. Obviously, anything that's not Disney doesn't have the Disney. But if you click on these fonts and you just choose any one of these fonts, you'll see they come on as a font, like they would in Canvas Workspace, where you can just use your keyboard. So, you know, you could select T, then choose lowercase, and write the word thanks and say OK, and set that on the mat. Okay, and you can see hopefully that in between the letters there are spaces. I don't mean the spaces in between like the T and the H. In the actual letter itself, you can see the black line is the cut line. And if that was drawing it, that pen would draw that line and it would leave that gap in the middle, that white gap. So let's just go to edit and object edit, and we'll change it to 1/2 inch high, because that's what I'm going to do the other ones, or that's what I did the other ones at, just so you can see. So let's just take this to 1/2 inch for now and set it on the mat, and I'm just going to move it out of the way. Okay, and I'm going to say OK. So it's still there. So I'm going to say OK, then I'm going to go to add and back into patterns. Now, as I said, it's a font, but it's not a font. Okay, it acts like a font, but it's not a font. So you don't find it in here. You've got to scroll down, or on my machine, I have to scroll down. It'll depend how many pattern sections you've got on yours, but it is available in the SDX1200 because I checked the manual. And you're looking for this section here that looks like a frame with like flowers on it. And anything in here is for drawing, and here it is. So it says ABC. And when you click on it, you'd probably expect it to appear like a keyboard, like the other one did. But no, these are actually individual letter cut files. So to use it is a little bit more of a pain, but if you've got something that you desperately want just to be a single stroke and you can't find anything on the internet, because you usually have to pay for single stroke or single line fonts. You know, there are not many that are free. I've showed a couple in the past that are very, very close, but they're definitely still not one line or one stroke fonts. So to use this, if we wanted to do the same word, I'd have to bring each one of these letters on individually. So I'd have to choose T. And in here, there's only uppercase and numbers. There's no lowercase. But like I say, it's because it's not a font. These are actual cut files. I'm just going to say set, and you can see it's put it here. Always comes in the top left. Now I've got to go to add pattern. I've got to scroll. I've got to find that. I've got to choose, and then I've got to choose the H and set. Then I've got to go to add pattern, scroll down, find the section, choose the next letter, set. Can you see what I mean? It is a bit tedious, but once you've made your word, you can save it in your machine and then you can go back to it time and time again. So we've got THA and set. Then I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to choose this and just isolate those letters. So they should all be chosen. I'm going to say OK, object edit group, and then I'm going to come into the resize and take it down to 1/2 inch. And set. And then let's see if we can move it over. And then I'm just going to ungroup everything, zoom in. I'll zoom to 400 and say OK. Oh, and hopefully you can see. So we've got the thanks that's been done from the fonts. And as I say, where the black line is where the pen will draw. So these will all be gaps in the middle. But this one, you can see no gaps in the actual letters themselves. So that's how you get this. So as I say, just a quick tip, you may or may not know it's there, you may have used it, you know, just play around with it. I would always do a test. So if I was wanting to put this on a card, I would just, you know, roughly work out what size I need, either in width or in height, put a piece of scrap in the machine, put my word on, get the pen that I'm wanting to use, draw it out on the scrap and see if it's the result I'm wanting. And then once you know it is, save that into your machine and then you can draw that at any time in the future. So that was just today's quick tip about using a single line or single stroke font that's not a font but is in your ScanNCut machine. As I say, it's in the SDX2200 Disney. It's also in the SDX1200. Okay, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so. It really does help YouTube push the channel out to more people that need help with the ScanNCut machine. These machines are still being sold every single day and there are new people out there looking for help. One lady messaged me and said she didn't know I was selling the machines. She'd got it for Christmas, but she'll certainly be buying her accessories off me. And she found my channel by doing a YouTube search. And obviously then from my channel, she's gone to my website and found the blog with all the, you know, resources and everything I have on there. So it's nice to know that, you know, YouTube is helping people find not only my YouTube channel, but my website. Anyway, thanks for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.